Alright, here we go. Another 8-4 Scars of Mirrodin Draft. Nice pack. There's Embersmith in Galvanic Blast in red. There's Arrest in white. Mirror Propagator is okay. Not over the other cards. There's Arrest, I think, is where I'm going to lean, rather than take a good red card and pass it. I'm not too worried about signaling, but I might as well when Arrest is arguably the best card here anyway. Embersmith is nice, but it doesn't deal with bombs, whereas Arrest deals with everything. White's a good color too, and I'm going to err towards giving a good signal. Here I could take Revoke Existence, Slice and Twain in green. I drafted a pretty nice white-green deck the other day, very aggressive. But I don't know if I can take Slice and Twain when Revoke Existence is already in the pack and on color. As much as I prefer, like, obviously if it was the first pick, I'd take Slice and Twain over Revoke, I think. Even some people would prefer white, but I actually like green. There's also the Snapsail Glider, which I kind of prefer to Revoke Existence, especially early in the draft. But well, maybe I'm not going to pass up the Revoke Existence and cut white. That way I cut white a little better. But a lot of the time you just prefer another artifact to, especially white, which is predominantly Metalcraft. You prefer artifacts to colored spells early to keep you open to all the Metalcraft cards that you're definitely going to get, and especially if there's plenty that you can get late. There's a lot of 2-drops, like the Sun Chaser, and then there's the other guy who gets Double Strike, Skalma's Wardens that come late. You have plenty of like slots. Like there's plenty of good colored cards and only so many slots. Here's the Gold Mirror, I think. It's an easy pick. Here, not much going on. Throne of Geth doesn't normally do much in white. I can take it and get some like Tumble Magnets and Necrogen Sensors potentially. Here I think I just take the Strider Harness, which would go well with Shikari's if I can pick some up. That's the other option, is not necessarily Metalcraft, but more equipment based. Pair it with red for Gavaliers. I'm going to take Flight Spellbomb here, even though it's not white, because I'm not going to take a Boon Acolyte. That rarely, there's rarely room for that. I'm not going to take Soul Parry, which I'm surely to get later on, and usually doesn't make the main. I sided in versus Poison a lot, though. I'm going to take the Flight Spellbomb. It's most likely out of that pack to make the deck. Nothing other than Palladium Mirror in this pack. Not the strongest of packs. Strider Harness doesn't always make the cut. It will with if you have Shikari's, and if you have a couple of Shikari's, it makes the cut. I mean, it's still pretty decent, like +1/+1 in haste for a very low cost on all your creatures. Is definitely playable. Sometimes you just have better options. There's Auriok Replica, Culling Dace, and a Quarter Shield. I think a Quarter Shield has the most potential in a white deck. Calling Days is nice since it's an artifact for Metalcraft, but usually I feel like unless you're proliferating or something, it's more of a sideboard, or you have like, what's it called, Furnace Celebration, something like that. It's not quite good enough. I'll take another Flight Spellbomb. I don't know that I'm going to be blue, but White-Blue's Metalcraft is certainly a decent archetype. Blue doesn't seem particularly open. Stoke Rebuttal does go late anyways, but I guess in an empty pack, having a few cards that have blue symbols in it may be a decent signal, since otherwise it's pretty empty. It's just the best card there. Well, I think they were just oh, this is my first pack, which was not very deep. I'll just continue to scoop up spell bombs. We go white, blue, or white, black. I'm happy to see the New York replica here. I don't remember how deep that pack was, but I don't think any of the packs were all that deep, and so that's a decent signal that blue's open. Sea Strider is not really a main deck card. So the packs weren't very strong, but I think this sort of pile made the most of him. I definitely need to open the right, or get past the right kind of cards next pack. I definitely didn't pass too many white cards, or blue cards for that matter, so they should flow decently. I think the only, what did I pass? I passed some red cards in the first pack. I didn't see any red cards, really. Any premium red cards. The only really strong card I passed was the Slice and Twain. Other than those red cards, I think white blue should at least flow pretty decently from the left. But I mean, signaling is not necessarily the most important thing in a format with a million artifacts. So you can't just because you cut something doesn't mean that it's not going to get cut off from you in the second pack, because a lot of the time, like right now for example, I'm not committed to blue by any stretch, so if I open something from another color, I could just jump in. But I do have reason to believe blue is open from the right, so it would take something good. Well, something good. Volition Reigns would be nice here too, but not over a Contagion Engine. There's also a Tumble Magnet in the pack. What's going to wheel here? Maybe a Kemba Skyguard has a chance of wheeling. It's sometimes hard to fit, but I have a pretty heavy artifact count so far. I think, especially since I'm not committed to blue yet, it's the easy pick over Volition Reigns, and Contagion Engine is in other formats it might be different. Like I guess in M11 it would certainly at least be closer between Mind Control and Contagion Engine, if Contagion Engine was a card in M11. So here the choice is, I think, between Skyhill School and Trigon of Rage. Every time I take Skyhill School, no matter how early or late I take it, and I'm in blue, I end up having too many in my pile and cutting one because I need artifacts. So I think I'm going to take Trigon of Rage here. Even though I think that Skyhill School is just completely underrated in the format. Like it goes so late, and like that, the only reason I'm cutting it from my deck is because I have 4 of them in my pile. still a very strong card. Here we have a Shikari. I only have one equipment so far, and that equipment does not necessarily make. I don't have like a Dark Steel Axe or something like that. It's a Strider Harness, which doesn't have to make the deck. So maybe I just leave myself a bit more open to Metalcraft and take the Glider, which is easy to play regardless. I have room for Shikari right now, because I just have so many artifacts. I also have the Quarter Shield. So two equipments that are playable. I do like Shikari a lot. The lifelink is so strong when you're not playing against Infect. I gotta take this. I gotta take the Glider. Well, I think I'm taking Truant Conviction here. I mean, if there was something really strong, then maybe there's a choice. But I think I think I take the Truant. I don't know if it's a complete bomb. It's really good. It's definitely really good, and as long as you have a couple creatures on the table, you should be in good shape. It's hard to beat. That being said, like I have passed it before and not really regretted it, because sometimes I think you're just fine taking an artifact if that's what your deck needs or something like that. Like if I open in pack 3 and I'm short on artifacts, I'm probably just taking a solid artifact over True Conviction. It's not a Windmill Slam must pick in white. I don't think it's close, but not quite. Here's the Glint. I'm going to take the Glinthawk. I don't have that many artifacts yet. I mean, I don't have that many colored cards yet, and I have a lot of cheap artifacts. So, and it goes well with the Trigon of Rage. You can reset it and gets pumped by it. Wow. Yes, please. So yeah, I guess I definitely did a good job of cutting white. It doesn't always work, but here it did. I might have put the guy. Wow. Might have put the guy to my left in Infect. It's hard to put someone in Infect because sometimes people are just going to avoid it no matter what. But I did pass quite a few good Infect cards, I think. Back when I'm going to take the Trinket Mage here. Now that I have the Life Staff and some Spell Bombs. It's close. And that's close. I'm not really committed to blue though, so maybe I take the Glinthawk. Glinthawk's really good too. If I'm not in blue, it's hard to play Glinthawk. Let's take the Trinket Mage. I like Trinket Mage. Maybe too much. I wish I had a Shikari now. Hopefully I can pick one up. Maybe it wheels. I don't know if the pack was deep enough for it to wheel. I take the Halt Order. I don't know if Replica's making the cut main deck. I like it as a sideboard card, but I'm going to take Halt Order here. I think it's better as a sideboard card, even if it doesn't make the main. Not much going on. I'll just take the Stoke Rebuttal. I don't have many late drops, so I guess Clone Shell I can take. I don't like Golem if I don't have a red symbol. I don't like it even if I do have a red mana in my deck. I'm not a huge fan of it. I have nothing to Clone Shell into, but maybe I get to open one. Something to Clone Shell into. Empty cards. Empty pack. That's really late for a bleak. Like, I know it's not an early pick necessarily, but it happens so much in this format that you just get these stupid 14th picks that don't